former Broadway star Imani Dia Smith has died. The 26-year-old who played young Nala in the Lion King musical from 2011 to 2012 was killed December 21st after being stabbed at her home in Edison, New Jersey.
December 21st, 2025, just 4 days before Christmas. A 911 call comes in at 9:18 in the morning from a home on Grove Avenue in Edison, New Jersey. When police arrive, they find 26-year-old Imani Dia Smith with multiple stab wounds. She's rushed to Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, but it's too late. She's gone. And the worst part? Her 3-year-old son was in the house when it happened. Now, before we go any further, if you're new to Mistora Crimes, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss a case. Like this video. Drop a comment telling me what you think about this case. And share it because stories like Imani's need to be heard. All right, let's get into this. Imani wasn't just anyone. When she was a little girl, she lived every kid's dream. From September 2011 to September 2012, she played young Nala in Disney's The Lion King on Broadway. Can you imagine? At such a young age, performing on one of the most famous stages in the world. Her family called her a triple threat because she could sing, dance, and act. She had this light about her, you know? The kind of person who walked into a room and made everyone smile. Her mom, Monique, worked as a hairdresser on Broadway and in film and TV. She worked on over 25 productions, including The Lion King, Pose, The Equalizer, and so many others. This was a family deeply connected to the arts, to creativity, to beauty. Imani had 2 younger siblings who looked up to her, and she had a 3-year-old son who was her entire world. But here's where things get dark. The man arrested for killing Imani was her boyfriend, 35-year-old Jordan D. Jackson Small. And get this, they shared that 3-year-old son together. The child who was in the house that morning was their child. Think about that for a second. This little boy had to witness or hear something no child should ever experience. Jordan was a big guy. Court records say he was 6'6" and weighed 350 pounds. When police arrested him 2 days later on December 23rd, he didn't resist. He was charged with first-degree murder, second-degree child endangerment because of the son being present, and weapon charges. But here's what makes this even more chilling, and I need you to pay close attention to this because it's important. Exactly 1 year before Imani was killed, on December 21st, 2023, Jordan was involved in another domestic violence incident. He pleaded guilty in June 2024 to aggravated assault in that case. Instead of going to prison, he was put into something called a pretrial intervention program. It's basically a second chance program for first-time offenders. So let me make sure you're understanding this correctly. Jordan hurt someone in a domestic violence situation on December 21st, 2023. He got into a program instead of going to jail. And then exactly 365 days later, on December 21st, 2025, Imani is dead. Same date, 1 year apart. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. Now, the prosecutors came out and said that Imani and Jordan knew each other before this happened and that it wasn't a random act of violence. Well, of course it wasn't random. This was her boyfriend. This was the father of her child. This was someone she probably trusted at some point, maybe even loved. And that's what makes domestic violence so terrifying. It's not the stranger in the dark alley. It's the person sleeping next to you. It's the person you have a child with. Think about what Imani must have been going through. We don't know if she tried to leave him. We don't know if she was planning to leave. We don't know what conversations happened behind closed doors. But what we do know is that on that Sunday morning, something went horribly wrong. Her Aunt Kira set up a GoFundMe page, and the family statement just broke my heart. They wrote that Imani was senselessly killed by her boyfriend just ahead of Christmas. They described her as vivacious, loving, and fiercely talented. She brought joy and creativity into the world. And now her parents, who should be watching their daughter raise her son, are instead raising their grandson themselves while planning their daughter's funeral. The GoFundMe was set up to help with funeral costs, but also something you might not think about: crime scene cleanup. Yes, they have to pay to clean up the home where their daughter was murdered. They need money for trauma therapy for Imani's son, for her siblings, for her parents. They need money because Monique works freelance, which means when she takes time off to grieve and attend court hearings, she doesn't get paid. And they need money to take care of Imani's dog, Kuro. As of right now, the fund has raised over $70,000. The community has rallied around this family, but no amount of money brings Imani back. No amount of money erases what that little boy saw or heard that morning. Jordan is being held at the Middlesex County Adult Correctional Center, waiting for his pre-trial detention hearing. The investigation is being led by Detective Kevin Kirsch from Edison Police and Detective Olivia Ankiewicz from a Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. And here's what I want you to think about. This case has so many layers that we need to unpack. First, let's talk about the pre-trial intervention program that Jordan was in. Now, I'm not saying these programs are bad across the board. They exist to give people a second chance, to help them rehabilitate instead of just locking them up. But we have to ask ourselves, was Jordan Jackson Small properly monitored? Was anyone checking in on him? Were there warning signs that got missed? Because here's the thing about domestic violence. It almost never happens just once. There's usually a pattern. It starts with control, maybe some verbal abuse, isolation from friends and family. Then it escalates. Maybe it's a push, then a slap, then something worse. And the victim often feels trapped because they have children together or financial dependency, or they still love the person and hope they'll change. Did Imani try to get help? Did she call the police before? Did she tell anyone she was scared? These are questions investigators are probably asking right now. They'll be going through phone records, text messages, talking to friends and family, trying to piece together what Imani's life was really like behind closed doors. And let's talk about that 3-year-old boy for a minute. Child psychologists will tell you that trauma at that age can have lifelong effects, even if the child doesn't fully remember what happened. He was in that house when his mother was killed. Whether he saw it directly or just heard the commotion, that's going to stay with him. His grandparents now have to figure out how to raise him, how to help him heal, how to explain why mommy isn't coming home. How do you even begin to have that conversation with a 3-year-old? The fact that Jordan was charged with child endangerment tells us that prosecutors believe the child's presence during the murder was a significant factor. It means that little boy was close enough to be in danger, close enough to witness his mother's final moments. That charge carries serious weight, and it should. Imani's mother, Monique, has to be devastated beyond words. She worked in the same industry where her daughter once shined. Every time she goes to work on a Broadway show, she's going to be reminded of when Imani was young and full of dreams, performing as young Nala in The Lion King. Those should be beautiful memories, but now they're tinged with this unspeakable tragedy. And the timing, for days before Christmas. The tree might have already been up, presents might have been wrapped for that little boy. The family was probably planning their holiday celebrations. Instead, they're planning a funeral. Instead of Christmas carols, there are police interviews. Instead of joy, there's unbearable grief. Now here comes a part of the story that might make you angry, and honestly, it should. Let's go back to December 21st, 2023. That's when Jordan was involved in his first documented domestic violence incident that led to the aggravated assault charge. We don't know who the victim was in that case. It might have been Imani. It might have been someone else. The court records don't specify publicly. But here's what happened. Instead of jail time, Jordan was accepted into the pre-trial intervention program in June 2024. This program is designed for nonviolent offenders or first-time offenders who show potential for rehabilitation. But wait, aggravated assault isn't exactly nonviolent, is it? That's assault with circumstances that make it more serious, like using a weapon or causing serious injury. So the system gave him a chance. The system said, okay, you messed up, but we believe you can do better. And then exactly 1 year later, Imani is dead. That's the twist in this story that nobody saw coming, except maybe Imani. Maybe she knew. Maybe she was scared. Maybe she tried to leave and couldn't. Statistics show us that when someone survives a domestic violence incident and the abuser doesn't face serious consequences, the violence almost always escalates. It's not about if it will happen again, it's about when. And in Jordan's case, the one with precisely 1 year later to the day, The Middlesex County prosecutor, Yolanda Ciccone, has been very careful with her statements. She confirmed that this wasn't random, that they knew each other, but she hasn't revealed much about the relationship dynamics or what might have triggered the specific incident that morning. Was there an argument? Was Imani trying to leave? Did Jordan show up uninvited? We don't know yet. What we do know is that when police arrived, it was already too late. The stabbing had already happened. Imani had already been wounded. And despite the best efforts of the medical team at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, she couldn't be saved. She was only 26 years old. Her Broadway dreams had evolved into different dreams. Dreams of raising her son, of building a life, of maybe one day returning to the stage or helping other young performers. All of that is gone now, erased in a moment of violence on a Sunday morning when most people were probably having breakfast or getting ready for the day. Jordan is now sitting in jail, waiting for his court date. He's facing life in prison if convicted of first-degree murder. The child endangerment charge adds more time. The weapon charges add more time. His pre-trial intervention program, that's over. There's no second chance after this. But here's what keeps me up at night about this case, and I want you to really think about this. How many other Imanis are out there right now? How many women are living with men who have a history of violence but got a second chance from the system? How many are hoping that this time will be different, that he's really changed, that the program worked? Domestic violence doesn't always end in murder, but it can, and the signs are usually there long before it gets to that point. The National Domestic Violence Hotline will tell you that the most dangerous time for a victim is when they try to leave. That's when abusers feel like they're losing control, and that's when things can turn deadly. Was Imani trying to leave Jordan? Was that Sunday morning the breaking point? Or had she already left and he came back? These are things the investigation will uncover, but for her family, it doesn't matter anymore. The why doesn't bring her back. The details don't ease the pain. What strikes me most about this case is the contrast. You have this young woman who once performed on Broadway, who brought joy to audiences, who had talent and promise and a whole life ahead of her. And you have a man who, despite being given a second chance by the legal system, allegedly chose violence again. The same date, December 21st. Was that intentional? Was it symbolic to him in some sick way? Or was it just a tragic coincidence? Imani's family now has to navigate a criminal justice system. While grieving, they'll have to sit through court hearings and listen to details about how their daughter and sister died. They'll have to face Jordan in court. They'll have to watch his lawyers argue about evidence and procedure, while all they want is their loved one back. And that little boy, Imani's son, he's going to grow up knowing that his father is in prison for killing his mother. How do you process that? How do you explain that when he's old enough to understand? How do you help him not internalize that violence, not repeat those patterns? The cycle of violence is real, and breaking it takes tremendous effort and support. The theater community has been sharing memories of Imani, talking about how bright she was, how talented, how kind. One person who worked on The Lion King remembered her smile and her dedication even as a child. Another remembered how professional she was, how she took direction well, and supported her fellow cast members. Those are the memories that should define Imani's legacy, not how she died. She should be remembered for the joy she brought, the talent she shared, the love she gave to her son and her family. So let me ask you some questions, and I really want you to think about these. Should someone convicted of aggravated assault in a domestic violence case be eligible for a pre-trial intervention program? Should the system prioritize rehabilitation over incarceration, even when there's a history of violence? And if someone is given that second chance, what accountability measures should be in place to prevent tragedies like this? If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out for help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7. You're not alone, and you deserve to be safe. Don't forget to subscribe to Mistora Crimes. Hit that bell icon, like this video, and share it. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this case. Should the system have done more to protect Imani? Let's have that conversation. Until next time, stay safe out there.